Very good evening to everybody. This is Maria Pressentin once more. Welcome to another edition of Purposeful Leadership. Today we are focusing the lady herself, a very well-known business owner, Dr. Marina Nani, the CEO of Radio Works World. It's amazing. I actually got her on board to be interviewed without any interruption. So I'm really, really excited to have Marina on our show today. The reason I brought Marina to our show today, it's because for those of you that have already followed my radio show for quite some time, I do a lot of leadership interviews. And I don't just speak to gurus, people that are, part of a think tank in terms of leadership. But I also want to interview practitioners and successful business owners that are self-leaders. And I did say a couple of months ago that I wanted to introduce a segment which is called self-leadership. And so this particular interview today, I thought what better than go directly to Marina, who is a very, very successful entrepreneur, because she is focusing on self-leadership all the time, and she's helping others through being a self-leader, showing her best practice and making sure that the world is a better place to live in. So before we go into hearing Marina's voice and really understand what she's gone through in order to be who she is today as a self-leader, I'd like to take a moment to focus on a little bit more serious in terms of introducing her, because she's got a really brilliant background, and I'd like for everybody to hear this. So Dr. Marina Nani is a broadcast presenter and an advocate for global social edification. And we'll talk more about that. It is heartbreaking to witness so much poverty, she thinks. And so her dream is to diagnose and to close the achievement gap globally. She's thinking about that all the time. We've just finished the conversation on that as well. So she created an extraordinary community of purposeful leaders who educate women from around the world to eradicate poverty, bring prosperity to their family, and advance their professional experience. She's the founder of MTN Media. Marina is the presenter for the Stardust Hour and the editor-in-chief of 3 publications: Sovereign Global Magazine for executives and leading entrepreneurs, the Quantum of Light magazine for authors and authors-to-be, Rich Women magazine, Inside Philanthropic Minds. Her role is to present information in an accessible and attractive way in a process of building up a sense of identity to help her guests to be seen, be heard, be present in the marketplace, and connect with a fresh, vibrant audience. The audience is introduced to new programs, and each program brings the latest news and diverse subject matter like culture, fashion, lifestyle, health, business, travel, sport, education, and leadership topics like what I'm doing here for you right now. Her Stardust team is formed of broadcast presenters and journalists from around the world. And so through her radio shows and interviews, like the one that we're doing right now through Radio Works World, she is able to help all of us reach our voice across board and really fulfill that dream as part of closing the poverty gap, as also educating people around the world. So Marina, welcome. Thank you very much for making it today to our conversation.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. What time is in Singapore right now, Maria?
It is right now just before 4 p.m. So it's early in the morning in the UK. I believe you're in the UK. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm in London now. I'm at home. So yes, thank you so
Wonderful.
much for opening the show. I was thinking you are talking about somebody else. Talking
It's a
about
really powerful bio. It's a really powerful bio, and I love it. You've always been supportive of our shows in Purposeful Leadership over so many months already since last year that we started. And you've always participated as a co-host with me, and I'm so grateful. And as I learn from you and about you, I thought, what better than when we're focusing in this segment of leadership, which is totally about self-leadership, and I wanted to provide some practical examples to our audience, in terms of entrepreneurs, successful business leaders. Who is it that we could look up to, and find some examples to hear from? And I thought of you because I know so many things that you're doing, and it's really kind of like hard to pause you, and one thing is building on the other. It's so successful. So let's just back up a little bit in terms of what you're doing. You did come from the corporate world, is that correct, Marina?
Yes, that's correct. So I retired when I was 51 years old, and
Okay.
this week I'm going to be 57 years
Wow.
young.
Oh my
I'm going to,
gosh. Yes, yes,
mind you,
yes, yes.
I celebrate my birthday every single day. You know, people wait
Oh,
for another
brilliant.
year, and I'm thinking, no, I don't have that luxury. I'm going to celebrate today. I wake up in the morning and I think, oh my God,
Yes.
look at this, look at me, I'm here.
That's the spirit. That's the spirit. Although this is your birthday week, it's an exceptional party week. Having said that, celebrating your birthday every day, it really puts puts you in a different perspective in terms of waking up and, hey, what do I get to do today, as opposed to, oh my gosh, I have to do this again, right? So it's kind of like a shift of mindset when you think that your birthday is every day. It's just that you stay young every day,
Yes,
right?
it's not that you stay young because there is progress involved. It's always moving. So
Right.
actually, you get younger. And you just mentioned perception, and that clicked something, a very recent memory from yesterday. I was driving with one of our MTN associates, Donia Youssef, and she recently joined us. She published her book. She's a best-selling author. She's now on book number 3 because her book becomes a series when we work together, as you know.
Right.
So we were talking about her vision, and I was listening, and she was saying, we see things so clearly. Why other people have to have so many doubts about themselves, about others? And I
Mm,
said to her, it's a matter of perception. It's their own perception that is holding them back from
mm,
seeing the clarity, from seeing the actual dream which is given to you
yes.
for a very good reason. It's given to you because you are ready, because you have all the resources. You know the
Mm,
people, you know the places, you know the the how actually, and
mm,
it's given to you to turn that. You are chosen to take that dream and turn it into a vision, and then the people who could support your vision will help you create a team, an
mm,
extraordinary team of unthinkable visionaries, the people, the solutionaries, as I'm talking about them all the time. And now we're putting together the solutionaries directory where
right.
everybody who got a solution to a challenge is going to share because it's all about
Mm,
sharing. And then with this team, because you are never alone and you cannot do anything by yourself. With your team, you are going to turn that vision into a better reality.
yeah.
So it is
Yeah.
perception. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I do agree with you. I think, opportunities arrive in front of all of us. I think the universe is built in such a way that opportunities are constantly there. It's just that the focus is probably deviated. The focus per person is probably deviated. So opportunities are there, and people have a perception that there aren't. That's because they don't see them. And so, it could be something that's got to do with what you like to do, call it passion, call it skills, call it preferences. But the opportunities are there. And so when you are not honing and grabbing those opportunities, what seems to happen is that you're automatically feeling stuck. Um, so, in order to shift that perception, sometimes it's faster to get to where you want to be if you just slow down a little bit to see what's around you.
Yes, I absolutely agree. You nail it. So you choose a word that is very, very dear to my heart, and actually is part of my formula works. Um, W stands for wealth through the power of words. O stands for opportunity. And actually, what I realized when I took that pause, as you said it, and when I retired, actually, because all my life as a businesswoman, I was chasing opportunities, and I was turning them around. The greater the challenge, the better the satisfaction, and
Right.
the feeling when you achieve something. And sometimes it's really sad because I had no one to share with. My children were very young, so
Right, 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 right.
but since I retired, and I felt that nobody needs me. So I was somebody taking 150 calls a day, right?
Right.
Working with people from across the industries, from different continents, all the time. So I never had time to remember, oh, I have to celebrate my birthday next week, And one day I was passing by, driving by to meet a client, and I saw lots of people outside my door, and there were flowers, balloons. And I called my son and said, "There's some people outside with balloons, and you know what it's about?" And he said, "Happy birthday, mom. We are waiting for you."
Oh, yeah.
So it's just one of those question about what is that I really want. And the opportunity I was chasing, they were really outside me. But
Yes.
then when I retired, and I got very ill, because from somebody very busy I become somebody that nobody needs. And I was almost like one of these, you are very young, but there were these Kodak films, take a picture,
Right.
take it to a dark room, and then we develop, let
Right.
the actual piece of paper to develop the colors. So
Yes.
I went through that process when I retired. And it's, you realize that actually you have it all. It's all inside. And instead of looking outside for opportunities, you could start discovering who are you? What is your gift, your talent? How can you master it to make it into into something that is helping others? And this something could be, like you said, your calling, but actually, to come back to the word opportunity, it is becoming the opportunity you seek. This is my perception. So comparing the two lives I had before I published my first book, and after, which I call it LAB, the life after book, I
Right.
realized that it's not about chasing opportunities and turning them around. And there are people out there listening thinking, well, I know there are opportunities. I'm told all the time. Why don't I have any? But this is why, because actually you are the opportunity you seek. It's nothing outside you. It's nothing that could happen without your permission. And you don't need anyone's permission. You don't need anyone's, what's the word I'm looking for? Validation. You take your vision and you validate it. You take your dream and you put your name on it. So it is about, it's not about chasing. This is my perception again. So it's not about chasing opportunities. It's about becoming the opportunity you seek. So whatever it is that you've been struggling with and you overcome is actually the solution for somebody else's challenge. It's actually something that is going to better somebody else's life. And even if you help only one person with your unique solution, what else? If you put a smile on somebody's face, imagine that. When you work with total strangers, when we help total strangers, I think the beauty is that you discover who you truly are.
Yes, absolutely. So what I hear you say is, yes, there are a lot of opportunities, but then, what is the one that you want to become instead of chasing multiple opportunities? And that makes a lot of sense to me because one other thing that I caught what you were saying was you are a person of service to others. So it doesn't matter the volume of people that you're serving. It does matter, however, if you're just as simply as making somebody smile, that is already being of service to others. And that could be the unique opportunity or solution that you could be advocating and really push it out there. Is that what you say?
That's exactly right. You translate it very well. sometimes sometimes I realize that I use words that I don't know where they're coming from, but I can't find a synonym. And even, for example, the word solutionaries. I was very, it's very unusual for me to feel ill, but this winter in Great Britain, it was a vicious flu, and a lot of people were going to the hospital, and so because I'm not a regular, I don't go to hospitals. I'm not a murderer or just I'm very lucky. I feel very blessed. So I always keep thinking what my grandmother told me, that a flu will last 7 days if you treat it, or a week if you don't treat it. So
Right.
going by that, I was already in the third month of suffering. And
Right.
I called the hospital, and they said, please come. Seems that you are not, you really need medical assistance, but there are no beds available, so we might be able to get a chair for you in the hallway. So I thought, you know what, I don't want to die in a chair waiting on a hallway in Chelsea Hospital. So I start thinking, I start writing, and I start saying, I just recently found that this is back in January, right?
Yeah.
So I found that piece of paper I was writing that I'm going to get well now because I have to publish the solutionaries. I have to publish the dictionary that is going to give people solutions to their challenge. So here I am about to publish and launch. So I found that each project is giving you healing powers, self-healing powers. And
Mm.
it's not only I see this in myself, but yesterday, for example, I was were meeting this amazing young girl who is ready to share her story and inspire us all with her strength, with her limitless love and compassion. And I was thinking that, it's never too early. She's 13 and she's publishing her book. Is going to be a best-selling book again. And I'm building up on her story to, it's almost like asking myself all the time, what does it take to close the achievement gap? Because
Right.
we talk about the pay gap, the gender gap, there are so many gaps in our society. But actually, if you think about, it's all about the achievement gap. So many people achieve so much, and nobody knows about it. They're like the best kept secret. And I'm
Mm.
thinking, I have to write about it.
Can
And
you tell us more about your thoughts around achievement gap? Could you tell us how do you define that?
okay, so you see, I'm going to use this example, a recent example from yesterday. So this young girl, she's been caring for her brother. Her brother is 10, and they've been struggling for a long time now. And it's just one of those unfairness in life when a 10 years old is terminally brain cancer, diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. And she is so close to him. And to be able to support him and be next to him all the time, she's homeschooling, right?
Right.
And, what an achievement. But at the same time, she's supporting a charity, a local charity called Bespoke. I can't remember now. I'm sorry. But anyway, I'll give you all the details. But what an achievement. They raise over £4,000 in 1 week, um,
Mm.
advocating for this charity,
Okay.
who is actually so unique and so special because they help children who are diagnosed with terminal illness
Right.
to fulfill their wish. If
Right.
they want to go the Great Wall of China, or whatever their wish might be. And it's a
Yeah.
whole story behind, and I'm going to publish an article today about it, but in the Sovereign magazine. But I'm thinking, look at her achievements. I was looking at her. She's one of the silent heroes. and she was sitting
Mm.
there listening, and we were talking about her book, and she was actually not saying much. You know, what 13 years old who is going to publish her book is so quiet? You know, her achievement is beyond our recognition.
Mm.
And I'm thinking nobody recognizes her. If anything, imagine how she must feel being at home, not having friends her age, not being able to do things other kids her age are doing. And this
Right.
is the kind of achievement I'm talking about, and is the recognition they absolutely deserve from us as a society. And
Mm.
many times my view on recognition is it's very clear. You know build on failure. You think you failed. You think because she might think she's a failure because she's in deep inside. I'm not saying she does, but anyone who doesn't go to school, who is taking care of somebody in their family they love so much, they could think of themselves that way, right? Because the standard is to go to school and have a good time.
Mm.
But I'm thinking, you are building your edifice. Each day is another brick you put on roof of. You are building to have a roof above your baby dream. So
Right.
make failure a stepping stone. Close the door on your past. The present is a gift of life. So
Mm.
all this achievement is all about what I'm doing next. And when you receive recognition for an achievement, it's almost asking yourself, what could I do next
Mm.
to make it better, to help somebody else, to
Right.
take this moment as imperfect as it is and make it
Right.
perfect.
Right.
Because
So, okay, so what I'm hearing is the what you're saying about like achievement gap, and obviously that's not the only situation, but this is a really good example what you've just shared with the little girl taking care of her brother. It's really also recognizing part of the audience would be the unsung heroes who then, who, when they get recognized, they could catapult their lives into something else and serving bigger purposes when they grow up, for example. So this would be one of those examples where the closure of an achievement gap is actually being successful. Is that what you're saying?
that's exactly right. And I think before we started to look into the achievement gap, we are having a lot of brainstorming sessions and listening to thousands of stories. We listen to more than and share more than 3,000 stories from all over the
Right.
world. So I had to put a diagnosis, you know, to
Yes.
why is this, um, desire to be to be the best kept secret. What makes you be quiet about your achievements?
Right.
I know it's social conditioning. I know it's limiting belief. I know from the amazing child you are born and everybody is surrounding you with love and hope, and you go school and then you turn into this nobody, but nobody doesn't exist. And I'm here to say recognition. Recognition is what we have to build. Recognition is what we have to give. It's almost like we are born givers. And because we are born givers, of course we are conditioned to give, but we don't know how to receive. So that
Mhm.
energy of giving, it's diminishing, it's getting weaker and weaker. And the circle of energy stops against your best will. It's almost like I'm drained. I don't know from where I can give more. People are talking about giving, and I
Mm.
don't have anything left. I gave it all, you know. So, so I'm thinking teaching people to, and it's never too early for that, to actually receive the recognition that they deserve.
Mm.
Is a, it is a social skill, but I think it's a moral duty. And this is why we have, for all our publications, we have Stardust Awards for the Sovereign magazine, we have the Authors Awards for the Quantum of Light magazine, we have
Mm.
MTN Media Awards for Rich One magazine. So all the time, we want to offer an experience, you know, of recognition. The the experience of being recognized. Because when you walk on the red carpet, when people are listening to you, they are looking up to you. And you could lose anything in life. You could even lose your health. But the experience is something that stays with you, and you're always going to remember. It's a once in a lifetime experience to receive an award from total strangers who nominated you, who are celebrating you. And there are so many people who feel alienated. They feel they can't have bad memories, or they can't invent another way of remembering themselves, because it's almost trading your bad memories for the lessons you learn is very hard when you are on your own. So the reason I believe in awards and recognition is because that turns your life around, that gives you another stream of energy, and that teaches you a good lesson. You are not here for you. You are here to pay forward, to help somebody, to help them see themselves with a fresh pair of eyes. It's all about perception. We're coming back to the same word. So it's how you see yourself. Do you see yourself as a victim, or do you see yourself as a cause of your life? And there are many situations, maybe a couple of times a day, when I meet people telling me how easy it is to talk about other people and how hard it is to talk about themselves, because they don't have they have it all, but what they miss is a formula. It's almost like a magic formula to put your essence out, to craft your message, to voice your story. And I'm thinking, but it's easy. You just need to remember it's not about you. Is about the people you could help. So this is why throughout all our media platforms, the radio works world, the magazines, the TV, which is a book I wrote 1,000 days ago. Now it's a TV channel, an internet TV channel called Broadcast Your Passion, UIPTV. All the events we are creating, and we gather together to have that human love and that energy. Imagine a room with hundreds of people where everybody celebrates the other, everybody celebrates somebody who was until then the best kept secret. It is an amazing experience, and I know as a fact that that experience stays with you. I've been recently invited um, to Birmingham, where Dr. Nestle Wasson-Drue was launching Women Economic Forum in Birmingham. And I was going because we interview lots of people. So I was rushing to another event, and somebody comes to the car and says, "Come back, come back, come back." So I'm rushing back in, and I'm presenting an award. And I sat there. Doesn't happen to me to be speechless, or doesn't happen that often. But Maria, I was sitting there in front of all these amazing people, total strangers, right? Thinking of the time when I was running an ecological newspaper back in my country, because I'm originally from Romania, and I was afraid for my children's life. I was receiving death threats because the ecological newspaper was doing some investigations on various things that they were really damaging the ecosystem, and it's long ago, almost 3 decades ago. So for all that hard work, all I received was death threats. And here I was, almost 3 decades later, receive an award, an amazing award. I was speechless, thinking, what can I do next? How can I help these amazing people? Because that award for me was the moment when I realized that you don't have a story unless you share it. And people talk about giving, but the sacred secret of giving is sharing your solution, how you came out from a bad situation, how you turn it around, how you turn trauma into power. What happened for you when you thought something happened to you? These are all um, questions revolving recognition and social edification. And my purpose here, I know, and I'm so certain, so clear about this. is actually building each person, starting with their story, into an edifice, into a place where people could find shelter for their own story, for their own dream, for their own vision. Because unless you are building, you can't leave a legacy. It's nothing left. Life is could go in a split second. We never know how long we have here, and that's why I'm thinking it's never too early. It's never too early.
I wanted to make a point with what you just said, very powerful. You said, you can only give when you share your story. And it's not so much about being an introvert or extroverted, whether you have social skills. That's going to help, obviously. But having said that, one of the things that you said, and I thought it was really powerful. Yes, you want to close the achievement gap, but it's a balance that is going to close that. And so, what you've diagnosed to be is that people want to give and give a lot, but they don't know how to receive. But you can only receive if you start sharing your story so that it serves others. As soon as you start serving others and you get recognized, you've got to be able to receive it so that it creates that balance where the achievement gap is going to be closed. And now you're talking about, obviously, congratulations for having that award. That's amazing. So as you go through the award ceremony and you have aha moments before and afterwards, what I'm hearing you say as well is, what are the next steps? And you talk about social edification, which is it's kind of like a coining of an industry that you've been building over the years. Now, knowing how you work and what you've succeeded in doing so far, you have a lot of media platforms globally to support that social edification, which in turn supports you in closing your purpose of achieving the closure uh, on that achievement gap that you were talking about earlier. So tell us a little bit about what is it for you, social edification? Because if you look at the dictionary, if you look at, you know, the different types of translations, there are a lot of versions. Edification is building, right? It's building, it's developing somebody, it's transforming, it's developing somebody. And so social edification, it's really developing masses because it's got a social impact. And what you've done so far over the past 7 years with your media platforms globally is to build an entire empire that helps others shine, have a voice, have a visual, get recognized. Um, and so tell us a little bit more your identification, your definition of social edification.
Maria, I was always a to-do person. You give me a list, a to-do list, and I'm going like a bullet. I'm very practical, and I know that unless I provide a solution to that little question on the to-do list, is going to somebody is going to experience some delays in their own achievements, in their own um, you know life. So I'm
Mhm.
thinking there are so many big doors out there and they are absolutely closed. You look at something thinking, I will never go through that. But then this is how I was thinking, right? Because I
Right.
was thinking all these amazing people, they are on stage, they speak, they're just amazing. They're so amazing. It's almost like you don't find the words to to connect yourself with them. Even they want to connect with you. It's almost like such a huge, deep gap in between you and them, between you sitting on the chair and them being on stage. And it's almost like the inferno, the abyss, you know.
Yeah.
So I start thinking, okay, so what can I do to open these doors? What can I do to let as many people as possible, through the doors they want to enter? And
Mm.
I was thinking, how is a door built? It's built by people, right? So if it's built by people, it could be opened by people. So there are small hinges that support each door. And those hinges actually are very, um, they are how they make the door close and open, right? So
Mm.
what if I build those hinges, the small hinges, to open big doors?
Mm.
So, so I start thinking that yes, nobody knows me, and doesn't really matter because unless I know myself, they won't want to know me. So I start learning about myself because you learn in school about everything and everyone, right?
Right.
And it's almost it's fascinating to learn about people, and it's funny. I read thousands and thousands of books, and now people think. I used to be told, "Oh, you read too many books, Marina," and now I'm told, "Oh, Marina, you are writing too many books."
Right.
It's so much fascination within each story, and I'm thinking, okay, they wrote this story. Why they wrote this story? There are a lot of people. There are 2 billion books, right? A lot of people are writing their book now. They are publishing their book, but nobody reads them. So I'm
Mm.
thinking, what is the solution to that? Because what's the point in writing a book unless somebody is going to benefit from it?
Right.
So, because it's so much going on. This river of books that is called Amazon now. It's so huge. It's almost like you are, a tiny particle there. And I'm thinking, how could you feed somebody's thirst for knowledge, and how could you turn yourself into a resource, into a natural resource for somebody's mind, for somebody's dream? So I'm thinking, okay, so by knowing yourself, by knowing who you truly are, what is your unique gift, you could help other people because you are offering them something. Because when you write a book, you are offering them the book, but maybe they don't have time to read the book. But what if you walk the talk? What if you start sharing the book before you even write the book? What if you never stop sharing even after you publish your book, and now you're a published author, maybe 100 people downloaded your book for free, nobody read it, but that's okay, you are bestseller on Amazon. So I'm thinking, so what is the benefit in all of that? I mean, is that really the solution to achieving that gap, that abyss between the people who made it and the people who are left behind? And I'm thinking, what if I could help people become their best spokesperson? What if they could be their own PR company? Not everybody got thousands of dollars or pounds to hire a PR company. And
Right.
what if we build together a PR machine that is worldwide and the doors are wide open? What if?
Okay.
And it's all possible, is almost like seeing the dream coming true and having thousands of people who already share their story, and this hundreds of people who started their own radio works world show, and sometimes it's a series of 2 or 6 or 12 or 50, and they turn those shows into a book, and but they keep talking, they keep sharing, and they do the work, and they meet real people, and they influence and impact those people's life. So there is
Right.
no distance between the stage and the chair. So in this industry it's very sad, but this is the language for the industry. They call people who go to events, to self-development events, which is more about self than development. But anyway, certain ones, right? So
Right.
are really good. So people who go to an event and sit on the chair, they're called bums on seats.
Mm.
So what if every single person going to an event have the chance to speak and speak up and share their story? Because on
Right.
stage is where the magic happens. What if you give these people the chance to connect with their inner message and
Mm.
have no choice but to share it? Because when you are on stage, people expect you to speak and
Mm.
give them a message. You are almost, each one of us is like that Greek soldier who was
Yes.
running from marathon. All he was wounded. This is 2,000 years ago, right? But it's the same
Hmm.
reality with each one of us. So he was running all the way from marathon to Athens to deliver the good news. and the good
Mm,
news where the war is over. So what if we are delivering the good news and saying the war is over?
mm,
Stop fighting yourself. Embrace your truth. Share your vision. It's nothing to fight. It's nothing to fight. You are the way you are. It's how you are designed for a certain to fulfill a certain call to help certain people who need you, who unless they hear your message, the price they pay for their challenge is too great. So we can't ignore these amazing, talented people who are bringing a solution that are putting together their own experience uh, to create a unique solution. And I was at the House of Parliament recently, and I was told, well, we need more people like you, Marina. I said, but I know thousands of them. I mean, I know all these people, and they know other people who do have solutions, because the challenges we have in modern society are so big that a single person, a politician, a charity, they cannot resolve it anymore. It's all of us. We have to contribute. We have to bring something at the table to turn it around. And nothing could happen when you are by yourself in your own home worrying what I'm going to do next. But when you open the doors into your own story, you allow people to see your goodness, to see your inner greatness, and get contaminated with it. I think it's a different perspective. When you start
mm.
seeing yourself for who you truly are, it's a different perspective, because the world will see in you what you see in yourself.
So what I'm hearing, which is really interesting, what I'm hearing is, it's all in your brain and in the way you believe in people, in the self, because you've experienced this yourself. I was just going to ask you, and I don't think I need to anymore, but I was going to ask you, what is the formula of being um, successful, creating an empire like you did? Well, successful, it's very personal, but if somebody accounts for success, for example, the way they can perceive others in having enough funds, having a better life, being comfortable in life, the material stuff, everything that you talk about is connected to service. It's got to be a service to others where you are feeling purposeful about. Now, that formula, what I've heard from you is whatever that is that you're passionate about, or you want to serve about, you just need to first is to understand that you matter as a human being. That's the purpose in your life. So as soon as you recognize yourself that you matter, then take action. Because sitting around is the biggest price to pay. Is that what you say?
Unfortunately, yes, that's the reality of millions of people around the world. So there are 7.3, almost 7.4 billion people. And imagine that each one of us is never going to be born again.
Mm,
And if our listeners would like to Google this, they could really go and watch a short video, which is on YouTube, and is done by one of the directors of science communication, Michelle Thaler from NASA. And she's saying you have gold in your brain. So it's a scientific fact, right? So
right.
gold, unlike other natural resources on planet Earth, is not coming from Earth. It's coming from the universe. It's coming from the stars. So two big stars had to collide for the
Right.
supernova to happen. And
Mm-hmm.
the proof, the immediate proof, scientific proof for that, because I'm saying you are stardust,
Mm-hmm.
is is checking the scientific details and learning that actually you are only born now. Your life here. is happening right now. It's not in the past. Yes, the past has happened to you and is there to be left in the past for you to learn the lessons. Even if you did not win whatever you wanted to win, you won even more. You won the right to learn about yourself, about the fact that you got so much going on for yourself. You have it all. You actually have it all. But the question is, are you going to recognize that? So this is the other coin of the achievement gap we are closing. So on one side of the coin is the recognition you deserve, and you deserve it from the world, from the outside world, but start with the recognition you deserve from yourself,
How
from
do
your
we do
inner
that,
world.
Marina?
So
Give us some tips. How should people do that? Recognize self first.
just remember who you are. Just remember how much you achieved already. If you know, couple of years ago, I um I found an old box. Now I was thought, what is here? You know, I opened it, all these notebooks, and I'm opening the each one of them, and I was having one, two, three, four, five, and each day I had five things that I wrote down. So I was so busy as a mother, as a widow, moving to a foreign country over the decades that I never had time for a diary. Instead, I wrote down every single evening five things I'd done that day. And sometimes it's almost like stupid things, like I walked the dog or something, you know, or I met somebody, or sometimes there were amazing things. Oh my God, like sitting around the table with eight kings. And oh my God, it was amazing.
Yeah,
I was looking back,
that's
thinking,
fun.
oh my God. So,
Yeah.
but, but you see, is the fact that you are here and you are alive and you wake up in the morning thinking, oh my God, this is a blank canvas. What I'm going to do about today, what I'm going to paint, what is the masterpiece I'm going to create today? Because we are
Yes.
creating beings, and you know, creating is so natural to us, but we forget to deliver. So you create, 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 create. So is no time left for delivery what you created. So that's why I help our um, make the news associates, MTN associates, and all my students and all my clients to repurpose, because you repurpose an experience, something you created, and you have to put your name on it to start with, but you regain that energy from the moment, because creative energies are very powerful. So you retain that energy from creating something, even if was a meal, you know. So it's almost trading the how for the wow. So when ahead of you is a busy day or a challenging day, you think, you know, is a natural question to you would be how I'm going to do this. But
Right.
a natural sentence that comes to me and to my clients and to our MTN associates is, wow, I'm doing this. So it's not a question anymore. It's a statement I'm making to myself. Wow, I'm doing this. And why
Right.
I'm doing this? Because it's not about me. Because I matter. I'm a part of this happening. And unless I deliver, it's very likely that it's not going to happen. So I have to
Yeah.
deliver myself. You're talking about purpose, and I have thousands of people asking me, Marina, how do I get my purpose? And I'm thinking, you are kidding, right? What do you
Yeah.
mean you don't know your purpose? Well, I don't know. Everybody talks about, and it's one of these trendy topics, right? So I'm thinking, really? You are your purpose. You are your purpose to become who you are designed to be the person who can. Because we are facing a big challenge and there's nothing in between. You know, it's nothing in between where you are to where you want to be. It's that abyss again, right? And you, the only way you could go there is by flying. So you have to learn to grow your own wings.
Right.
And your desire to be more, to give more, to help more is growing those wings. So it's not you are not going to go there by Pan America or British Airways. You have to grow your own wings. I travel around the world, and you are telling me that you are in between flights now, and you are going to jet to another beautiful. But you done all of that simply because you grew. You grew your own wings. So the fact that people need you and people need your solution to their challenge is simply because you own those wings. And Icarus is that story when he's not listening to his father's advice and goes too close to the sun. And I'm thinking, you are the sun. It's the same way people are asking me, so how is this law of attraction working? I said, there is no law of attraction. There is no law of attraction. What do you mean? I said, well, you see, people talk about the universe, how the universe is abundant and how the universe is going to provide because you're generous and giving and you deserve it. And I'm saying, no, don't wait. Don't go on your sofa waiting for the universe to deliver the solution for you. Become the solution you seek. You are the universe. In short, you are the universe. This is what you have to remember where you wake up in the morning. You are the universe.
Yeah. One of the things that I realized over the years, when like like everybody else, at some point in your life, you kind of like, oh my gosh, am I lost? Am I stuck? Right? But one of the ways, and I've gone through it a couple of times, during different segments of my life, and every time I've been able to come out of it because I didn't know much about law of attraction because that's something that, over the past few years, this became a big thing. But seriously, once you've overcome and become stronger, like what you're saying, people want you because you've built your wings, you've delivered, you've built up your solutions, and people want something from you right now. And but in order to get there and to cross that wall, it's like, who am I? Why am I here? What are the solutions am I building for others? It's not so much about finding out your target market. It's more about who are you, and I agree and I concur with you. It's who am I right now? Yes, I'm probably feeling overwhelmed with some type of struggle or getting stuck. And the key issue here is when people talk about law of attraction, it's not that I have to wait to attract something that is outside of me, but rather law of attraction based on my experience is to focus.
I
What
think,
is it? What
yeah,
is it that I need to be focusing on myself so that it actually helps me build these wings?
that's the exact word, focus. So you see, we live in a world of all possibilities. Why? Because some people, sometimes not long ago or very long ago, they focus on their own vision. They turn it into a better reality for us all. So
Mm,
there is so much social injustice growing and growing, and it's not only the pay gap, the gender gap. It's so much uh, that we really need to cure. And for example, Sovereign Magazine is reaching out to our readers to help us diagnose and close this achievement gap. And we are
mm,
connecting with the solutionaries, with the unstoppables, the agents of change, the daring people, like you said, the purposeful leaders, because social edification is the industry that builds up purposeful leaders across
mm,
industries. And the people who are featured in our magazine, they dare to imagine the unthinkable success. They bring their own story to Sovereign Magazine, for example, and there are so many other magazines out there. I'm not,
right.
I'm reading all the time to inspire us to never give up or never settle
Yes.
for less than your worth. And each story is the proof that is not the law of attraction that turns your dream into reality, but is your
Yeah.
ability to become attractive to your dream, to become attractive to your dream job, to become attractive to your dream relationship, to become attractive to your dream team. So you you interview so many amazing people, and it's almost like looking into thousands of stories every single year. and perhaps in decades to come, it's never been clearer to me. I mean, this helped me understand that is not that is the law of attraction that makes it happen for you. If anything, that could put you in a place where you don't feel good enough, or you are waiting for too long and you you run out of patience and thinking, oh, this is not working. It's your ability to become attractive to whatever it is that you want in your life. And that ability is a constant process. So it's not happening overnight. In my own experience, takes 1,000 days for each project to reach fruition and get better and bigger than you ever imagined. So it is really your ability to become attractive to whatever it is that you want in your life.
Okay. One thing that I've learned, and I really wanted to quote you in our earlier question, and this is a really lovely sentence. You said, um, every day wake up, fill your blank canvas every day with new color. That's kind of like quote unquote, people should just pay attention to that because there's so much power and energy. Uh, it in it is suggesting motivation. It is suggesting positivity. It is suggesting creative power. Um, if anything, it's been almost an hour that we're here on the call. So I wanted to ask you, you know, if anything you were to suggest the audience, and there's so many people that look up to you, um, what would be 2 or 3 pointers for our audience, especially the ones that are entrepreneurs, especially the ones that are feeling stuck right now? What are 2 or 3 pointers that you would give our audience to get moving?
I think the one solution I found for myself, and I'm not teaching, I'm just sharing, is turning the how into the wow. Instead of
Mm-hmm.
asking yourself how I'm going to do this, I don't have anyone, I don't know anyone, and you focus on what you don't have, start focusing on what you have. You have a dream, go for it. And another thing is that helps me is understanding that we are not invincible. And when I'm saying that, I'm thinking that it's never too early to accept and recognize yourself for the whole of yourself, for who you are, for your inner greatness, for all the things you already delivered, because they are just the proof of you being able to deliver a lot more. Because where this is coming from, there is a lot more there. It's almost just that you just scratch the surfaces of who you are. And build on failure. When you think you failed, I think you build on your edifice. Is another brick that you need to put there to go all the way to the roof that you build above your baby dream. And make failure a stepping stone. Close the door on the past, because the present is a gift of life. And take responsibility for your own stardust, for your own gift, for what it is that makes you you.
Mm. That's so. In summary, what you were saying was turn the how to wow. So if you just have nothing, if you think you have nothing, but if you have just a dream, just go for it and see what resources you could put together. You said something about all your projects so far, based on your experience, have taken 1,000 days to build the wings. And so I guess this is one of the pointers, because it's really take action, because nothing comes from nothing. So basically, you need to accumulate the something in order to build those wings. And you're not going to be successful from one day to another. And therefore, don't just sit around, start building them based on that particular dream, and recognize your inner strength, build milestones. If you see them as failure, fair enough, but what did you learn from them? And recognize yourself, because you are the wisdom that puts you here on earth. Is that correct?
That's wonderful. You said it better than me. and, and I want to say this again, Maria. You are Stardust.
Oh, thank you, Marina. Thank you. You've created a wonderful coin, a wonderful vocabulary in this entire global social edification industry, and there's just so much that keeps on developing. I'm curious. One of our last questions. Um, what's next for you? What are you building right now? I'm so curious, really.
So in the last 1,000 days, we managed to turn some of my books into a TV channel, into a
Wow.
magazine, into another magazine. So we have three magazines, and each magazine got a club. So, for example, Sovereign got the Sovereign Club,
Right.
and the Quantum of Light magazine, which is a magazine for authors and authors to be, for
Yes.
indie authors, people who write their own books, and they don't
Yes.
really have a place at the table of literary agents. We
Yes.
created the Author Club, which is expanding now. We are launching in Birmingham, in Sheffield, in Nottingham, in Wales, and all over the country, and
Wow.
we are launching a few more abroad. We start with each continent
Yeah.
because success is contagious. So we want um, to really help people share their own story, because you don't have a story until you share it. So
Yes.
this is each one of those clubs, they have their own awards, the
Mm.
authors awards, the Stardust awards, the MTN Media awards. So everybody could become a journalist. We train people to find the essence in other people, so
Right. Right.
to make the good news, because together we are making the good news, and
Right.
the good news sell. And I know I've been saying this for a long time, and people don't, they smile almost like, oh, she's not well. you know but think of the football match we had, England. I don't understand football, but I love the energy, during
It's
the
most
World Cup.
positive, right? Yeah.
you
Everybody
know
comes
but
together. Yeah.
everybody learn to dream again.
Yes.
Everybody learn to dream again, even the people who otherwise won't even want to hear the word dream.
Yeah.
Everybody brought that collective energy, and even um, even the most skeptical people I know, they were
Yeah.
smiling and they couldn't stop smiling. And
That's
making the
wonderful.
good news together is my dream, is the
Mm.
reality I live, is the reality I build. And I really don't know what's next, because we are going to this serendipity together, and
Right.
we we are just growing. And I wish the people who are listening connect with us, and have find the courage and the energy against everything, despite all odds, to dream again.
That's wonderful. So, what would be the best way to connect? Because would it be possible for you to give us a link, resources for people that are listening to
Yes,
connect with you and
of
your
course.
team?
Of course. So I have my own website, which I don't really have time to update because I broadcast your passion. That's my passion. But
Okay.
they could go to mtnmedia.co.uk and connect
Okay.
with us. We don't have a newsletter or anything as such. We don't have the um, the power, the ability to send emails to people who don't want to receive emails. But if you write to us, we'll definitely get in touch. We'll definitely help you broadcast your passion. We'll definitely love to hear your story.
Okay. So it's mtmmedia.co.uk. Is that correct?
Yes, MTN stands for Make the News.
Make the news. Okay, wonderful. That is amazing. Marina, thank you so much for being here in this call. I've always wanted to interview you, in a very private setting where I really just could just grab you and ask all the questions that I always wanted to learn from you about you and everything that you do, because you're unstoppable. You're amazing. You've built this this amazing empire worldwide, and it feels like, we talk every month almost, but it feels like every time I don't speak to you for about 30 days, there's something coming up, another new project coming up. So, people like that, they just have so much energy, and life is just, it's new every day. And it's like what you said at the beginning, it's your birthday every day. And so I just wish, part of our audiences would get a little bit of positivity listening to Marina and leaders that we've shared so far in Purposeful Leadership radio show, and to really, really be inspired and take life positively moving forward. And if sometimes, it's just overwhelming, it's okay, because all it's important is to recognize ourselves and just run with it. So, Marina, once again, thank you so much. Any last words before we close the show?
Before you go away, just remember to come back at 12 o'clock, which is less than 2 hours from now. We have another amazing show, Woman Dream, Every Woman Dreams, by our MTN associate in Ghana. Um, and she's just an amazing, amazing person, Asam Ayub. And then at 6 o'clock, we have story time with amazing Donya Youssef, who is a cancer survivor, and she is sharing her story every single Monday, 6 o'clock. At 7 o'clock, we have Imagine, where our presenter Dave Wicks is reading his latest poems, divine poems. At 7:30, we have a new show, which is the Inclusion Forum, and it's just amazing. I don't want to let too much out. Just come back at 7:30, and at 8 o'clock, we have our amazing Roger Cheatham presenter. He's going to run again his show each Monday, 8 o'clock, The Life You Deserve. And with that, I want to remind you again, a kind reminder, you are Stardust.
Thank you very much, Marina. And thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. And we'll see each other very soon.
Thank you.